all you wonderful people. If you're heading to Osaka or Japan, no trip should be without going to Universal Studios Japan. Now, some people may say, wait a minute, I've been told that Disney Sea is the greatest park in all of Japan. And I'm here to tell you that, yes, it's a good park. It's a great Disney park. However, Universal Studios Japan changes so much and has so many unique attractions, and it's like a time capsule of all the best Universal Studios rides and attractions ever made. All this makes it a must-do in Japan. However, trying to understand how to do everything and maximize your time while you're in Universal Studios Japan is extremely difficult. But after going there for 4 years straight, I believe I have the best way of conquering Universal Studios Japan. But first, hello, my name is Scott, and I've lived out in Japan for quite a while. And I've gone to the park many times. And I highly recommend that if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. And if you want to see how unique this park is, I highly recommend checking out my Universal Studios Japan playlist. It has videos of all the new rides that have been opened, as well as the unique timed seasonal events that happen for about 3 or 4 months. Believe me, this place is always changing. Now that we got that out of the way, let's figure out the best day to go. Before you leave for Japan, make sure you check the website because some attractions close or are replaced based on the season. They usually announce these changes about 3 months before their new event. So before you go, make sure that your favorite ride is still open. And if it's not, well, you're lucky. You get to see something that will only be around for a couple of months. Also, word of warning, if you are going during September, October, or November, and you're with a family with young children, you might want to stay in the kid zone and the safety areas when it starts to get dark, because at 6 p.m., zombies show up. And there is a warning, however, it's in Japanese and you may not understand it. It's pretty frightening when it happens, so just a heads up on that. Many people say that the best day to go to a theme park is on a weekday. For some strange reason, I've noticed that the busiest days at Universal Studios Japan are always Mondays. I would generally say avoid Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays, as many people seem to have these days off. I also recommend going as early as possible to have a full day in the theme parks. Though I do find that the last hour, a lot of people leave the park, and you may be able to get on 1 or 2 rides that may have had a really long line earlier. Getting to Universal Studios Japan is extremely simple. If you are taking public transit, all you need to do is get on the Osaka Loop line and transfer at the station called Nishikujo. Then take the train 2 stops to Universal City Station. And as soon as you walk out of the gate, you will be inside City Walk. And if you do not have a return ticket, I highly recommend buying one right then and there, because at the end of the night, the lines to get train tickets can be very long. City Walk is a lot like the City Walks in Universal Studios Orlando and Universal Studios Hollywood. If you have a hankering for American food, well, you can get it there. You also can get a flair of Asian food as well while you're there. They have a McDonald's there and 3 Lawson convenience stores. If you were to stock up before you go in, I'd highly recommend going to Lawson's underneath the escalator. There is one thing to note here. There are a lot of good restaurants in City Walk, but a 1-day ticket into Universal Studios Japan only allows you 1 entrance in. If you were to leave the park to go eat in said restaurants, you have to buy a new ticket unless you have an annual pass. So you may want to use this as an early breakfast or a late dinner. If you already have your ticket, you can go right to the ticket gate, but if you don't have a ticket or you want to check if express passes are available for that day, you can go to the ticket booths and buy your tickets. After you do that, go to the ticket gate and make sure to pick up a times guide. As stated earlier, the theme park changes, and different seasons they have different attractions. They may be in the same place and might be open in the morning and closed in the afternoon, replaced by a different experience. I highly recommend picking up one of these during Cool Japan and the Halloween Horror Nights season, as the times are radically different. Congratulations! You made it inside the park, and now it's time to ride the rides. But one thing you will probably notice is that the lines for the rides are ridiculously long. And there's nothing wrong with waiting a couple long lines, but if you're willing to separate with your party a little bit, you will have a much shorter wait. I'm talking about single riders, which have drastically less wait times. All the major roller coasters, Hollywood Dream, Space Fantasy, and the Flying Dinosaur have single riders, as well as Spider-Man, Jaws, and Jurassic Park. If you are with young children, the Universal Wonderland area has a well-kept secret called Reserve and Ride, where you can reserve time for the Snoopy roller coaster, Flying Snoopy, the balloon ride, and Elmo skateboard. But you can only get one at a time, but it will save you from waiting in line for a very long time. So during that time, I'd highly recommend checking the inside of the Sesame Street building because there's a huge indoor play area. Also, if you happen to go on a busy day, you may not be able to walk right into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. You'll have to get a timed ticket. To get that ticket, you have to go to Mel's Drive-In, turn around, look at the tip board, and then go right behind it. After you go behind it, you'll find the Harry Potter ticketing area. Also, when Super Nintendo World opens, you might have to do the same thing. However, I'll do an update video when that happens. There are 3 shows in the park that require you arrive about 30 minutes before showtime to get in. Sing, the Rock and Roll Monster Show, and Waterworld. While these shows are impressive, I highly recommend taking at least one show as a hefty and entertaining break. There are also surprise shows that happen seemingly randomly, like the Dinosaur Panic Show, which you can find out about from the Times Guide at the front of the park. As stated earlier, once you are in the park, you cannot leave without buying another ticket in, so most likely you will probably be eating lunch within the park. Though there are a lot of restaurants that run the gamut of tastes, I'd highly recommend eating at Mel's Drive-In, as the food is basically hamburgers and a standard theme park food. But a word of advice, whichever restaurant you choose, first find a table and put something on it, signifying that you want to sit there, because the hardest thing to get on a busy day is a place to sit down, so be prepared to hunt for a table for a little while. And if you're looking to get butterbeer in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, you can wait in the butterbeer line, or you can go into the Hogshead Pub, which is attached to the 3 broomsticks. Usually, there's no wait and it's indoors. It's a nice little treat when you're looking to get butterbeer. When the sun goes down, the park really comes to life. The neon signs and the late night atmosphere is pretty amazing, as well as the fantastic Universal Nighttime Spectacular Parade that really captures the feeling of the movies portrayed within inside the park. Also, the lines seem to get a little shorter. While it's not guaranteed, every once in a while you can get some walk-ons, and some say that the last hour of the park is the magic hour. If you're interested in doing all the rides, do all the rides. But if you're interested in seeing the shows that only happen at night, well, see the shows that happen at night. With all these tips and tricks, you should have a wonderful time at USJ, as they call it in Osaka. If you want to see more videos from Japan and theme parks out here, I highly recommend that you subscribe. But, as I always say, you can do it, I can do it, we can all do it. Stay groovy and have a wonderful day.